Hey, how you guys doing? I'm out in the wild this morning, um, and I wanted to talk to you about qualified income. I got a great question from someone that watched the most recent video, and I forget your name, but the question was, "What is qualified income?" So that's a very good question because a lot of people have different understanding of what income is when it comes to qualifying for a home loan. And at the recording of this video and the times that we're in, a lot of you guys have varying types of income, gig work, side hustle, second business, 1099 type income. And to you all, you believe, or you think, I won't say believe, but makes sense to believe that you can use that income to qualify for a home loan. So that's why I wanted to hop on while I'm waiting out in the wild, if you will, because we're looking to potentially get another rental property. But I digress. Qualified income is income that I would define this way from a lender's perspective. It's income that we can document. We as lenders can document the source of the income, and we can also verify the income. Okay. And as far as underwriting is concerned, income that's documented and verified, we also are making a reasonable assumption that that income is going to continue for a 3-year period. And so the types of qualified income are W-2 income, where you work for an employee, you're an employer, pardon me, and at the end of the year, you'll get that W-2 form document stating how much income that they've paid you. They then send that or forward that document to the IR and the S. But there is disability as far as income is concerned. The person that asked the question was watching a video where I was talking about co-signers, and a lot of you out there may be helping a family member or may have family members living with you. Pardon me, turn on the AC. Family members living with you in which you can use that money if it can be documented properly to help you qualify for a home. Okay. So there's varying types of disability income. But just over the years, qualifying income that I've been able to use to help people finance homes traditionally, right? Not non-qualified mortgages, but qualified mortgages, are things like foster income that's derived from you receiving foster or giving foster care to foster children that you may have. Um, Alimony, that's not one that's common, but again, if it meets the 3-year test, it can be documented and verified. Alimony is one that could be used. Akin to that or synonymous with that is child support can be used. Uh, any fiduciary relationship, and I'm speaking of folks that are above the age of 18 that are going to be living in the home with you, that you manage those monies, be it Social Security or any type of disability, you can use those. Again, the assumption is that income is going to remain right for 3 years into the future. I'm trying something new, streaming this from the vehicle while I'm waiting. Uh, if you guys can hear me and understand the topic, if you don't mind, let me turn this up. Uh, Give me a thumbs up or put a comment in the comment section and let me see how this looks from a different recording venue. I'm in the car and waiting on an appointment here. And okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, as I was saying, uh, if you have foster children, foster income, alimony is one. I've also had situations where if you're divorced, okay, and you were supposed to be getting child support, for whatever reason it didn't happen, and they child support order. Good morning to you. Good morning. Thanks for saying good morning. Um, and you have child support that's from the rears, that you're obligated to get that money, even though the child or children may be above age and not in your home anymore. That's an income stream. That's monies that's supposed to come to you. If we can document it, meaning there's consistency and you've been getting said monies, you can use those monies. I have one client that was in a tragic accident years ago, and he has an insurance. He was awarded monies in the form of annuities, and so we've been able to use that income stream, okay, showing that, hey, he receives X amount of dollars, and in certain intervals he gets large chunks of money, but we're able to extrapolate that income and those large chunks to help him then buy investment properties and things that he's been buying. So these are examples of qualified income, and how a lender would look at that income to help you determine if you could purchase a property. To make sure that your debt to income ratio is in line. It says, I have a W-2 job, but also work as a property manager. Hold on, don't go away. Let me see. Also work as a property manager. Can we use the income from the 1099 property management income as well? Excellent question. And the answer is yes, if it meets this test. And the test is this: any 1099 income, first and foremost, you have to have filed your taxes with that income for a 2-year period. And we're talking about qualified, traditional qualified mortgages. I'll come back and do a video on non-qualified mortgages, because there are products now where you don't have to have that test and be able to use the 1099 income, or there's different ways to use said income without having to have it for 2 years, stated differently. But for this conversation, yes, it can be used, but you have to have filed your tax returns. So if you don't have a name for your business for this 1099 question that you just asked, you would, you're welcome. And I'm just going a little deeper for those that may have also had that question and want a little more clarity. But you would be a self or sole proprietor. And if you guys are getting 1099s, I would advise that you at least reach out and get an EIN number, free to get. I'll answer that next question here in a second, Ms. Jackson. For Linda Jackson, I'll answer that question in a second, but at least get an EIN number. But so Schedule C, you file those tax returns. Deal with the 1099. It's very important. If you do not claim the entire amount, say you made $100,000 with the 1099 income, if you write off certain things on that Schedule C as an example, you can only use the income of the average 2 years of the Schedule C's that you made a profit, meaning you paid taxes on 50,000. I wrote off 50,000 in an example. I'm claiming $50,000 worth of income. I did that for 2 years. We as lenders, we average that income, and then you as a sole proprietor, pardon me, don't mean to point in your face, we're going to get a year-to-date profit and loss statement. Simply done. You can do it on a piece of paper. It's just simply saying, hey, as of August of whatever year you're in, I have made X amount of dollars, right? And these are my liabilities, and this is my net income. And when we divide that by 8, it needs to match what the average is over the last 2 years. So it seems difficult. Your lender can handle it for you. But again, the key for you guys is you got to file those taxes, and you can only use taxable income. Relinda Jackson, thanks for the question. What is the requirement percentage for debt to income ratio? Excellent question. And it's nuanced. And I'll say it this way from a 10,000 foot view. Technically, VA loans, if you're using a VA loan, if you've been in the military, shout out to you, thank you for your service. But if you're using a VA loan, there's technically no ratios. However, lenders, depending on who you deal with, have overlays, risk assessments to how much they're comfortable with your ratios being. I personally, with who I partner with, have closed VA loans where the ratio, the total ratio, all of the minimum monthly payments, the new house payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance combined, divided into the gross income, has been 67%. Okay? And I closed those loans. Has to make sense. So that's VA. FHA will allow for a total ratio, back-end ratio of 55.9%, or you might see 55.6%. So that's FHA. Conventional up to 50%, 49.99. All right. So, and then USDA is a stickler. Nowadays, 43% is where it's at. If you got a back-end ratio of 43%, you may be able to go 45% with very good compensating factors, right? And it's not, those compensating factors aren't, I'm a good guy or girl. So hopefully that makes sense. If I may, let me add, to go to the maximum debt to income ratio, I can't tell you what to do, but I really would admonish you not to do that unless you have a separate income that's not on the application, unless you have a lot of reserves, okay? So that you don't get yourself in a situation where you're in the pickle. Thank you for the question. Let's see here. What else we got going on? I am a W-2 and work in healthcare. Awesome. Thank you for your service, front line. What part of healthcare, if you don't mind asking? And did I answer your question sufficiently, Mrs. Jackson? So back to the 10,000 foot view. You can use different forms of income. And so it's very important for you to choose the right lending partner, because to be honest with you, there's levels in life, right? There's levels. Miss Jackson, I don't know what part of healthcare you're in, but let's say you're an RN. Just because you successfully went through your training program, college, wherever you went, got your degree, passed whatever state boards that you have, I would dare to say that you would believe that not all RNs are equal. Same thing with lenders. Let's see here. Medical coding. And yes, you are always on point. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much for the compliment. Medical coding is interesting. As I go forward, let me ask you a question for all of those that are listening. And this is apropos to the conversation. Income. Where do you see, what's the trajectory in your opinion for medical coding as far as a great career choice is concerned, especially for some of our younger folks that may be challenged or maybe feeling hopeless as it pertains to employment opportunities and having a good career going forward? If you don't mind, Ms. Jackson, answer that question for me. But there's levels to lenders, right? And so you want to make sure you're choosing the right partner, because just this year, I've closed 3 deals where someone has gone to some of these companies that are more about volume. You probably see all the advertisements, and I'm not knocking those companies because I sell loans to those companies as well. That's not the point. The point is, when you're in a situation where it's just volume, 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 if you don't meet a certain structure, a certain circle, a certain square, if you don't fit, and you got any nuance, you can be told, hey, you can't qualify. So in those three deals that I've closed, this might have been 4 this year, if I think about it hard, the loan officer actually missed qualified income that the person was then able to close on. So always make sure you understand that. So yeah, man, they need to come on here. I'm incognito today, right? Hold on, let me see here. Got another question, and let's see here. I'm not gonna try to say your full title there because sometimes I say it wrong, but it says, well, late payment. Well, hold on. Let me go here. Well, late payments I had 2 years ago on a collection that is 3 years old impact the loan. My score is 700. Should I pay the collection? It is less than $400. Excellent question. I would say no, especially if you're at a 700, and depending on the loan type, right, and your lender may not even have to deal with that $400, right, because it's under a certain threshold, a certain dollar amount. But the key thing is you got to be able to document, back to that word documentation, that whatever caused that situation is in the past, and there was a plan of action to rectify it. And then obviously, if you had a 700, your history will show that whatever that was going on at that time has been satisfied. So I would say no. It says it's sold even with AI assisted. It requires you to be fluent. Oh, okay. It's solid. I'm sorry, not sold. She's talking about the medical coding. So it's solid. So even with AI assisted, it requires you to be fluent in medical terminology, timing, and a few other educational areas. Great choice. All right, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're out here looking for a potential career path, this may be one that's viable from somebody that's in it and not on YouTube just talking about what they heard. Made 6 figures so far and close to retirement. I would suggest they get into it early and make sure this dude don't hit me. Make sure that whatever program they go through assist with finding employment. Excellent. Is that how you got into the industry? And then one other thing with that, what is your recommendation with how much should be invested? Meaning, there's a lot of these education businesses where folks are getting certificates and so on and so forth. In your opinion, how much should someone spend on getting educated to get into that industry? I think that's very important because a lot of people that I'm seeing have spent a lot of money, gotten into a lot of debt, and it's not commensurate with the income and or employment that was implied when they did so. So if you can answer that, I thank you as well. So let's see here. I think I'm answering all the questions. Thanks for the engagement, guys. This is a good way for me to kill this time and talk about something that was very, I think, helpful to the community. It says, no, I was working in healthcare and they sent me to school. There are community colleges that offer that. You know what? I love it. Too great. And we're just kind of segueing away, but it's still on topic because we're talking about qualified income. And so a lot of you guys may be missing opportunities with your current employer. That's what I was going to say. Find out if they have education programs, reimbursement programs for you to what's the word I'm looking for? For you to get into a different career field while you're working. It's not all about your monthly pay or the paycheck that you get. A lot of people are missing the opportunity. Pardon me. Hold on, let me close this. I do not want to do that. Are missing the opportunity. Okay, here we go. Are missing the opportunity to take advantage of your full benefit package with your employer. So as she said, check with your employer first. Always start where you are and see if there are educational opportunities. And then secondly, community college. Slept on, especially if you're younger. If you can, stay at home, man. You guys are missing the my daughter, boy, she could tell you, if I could get on here, she blessed and highly favored. And But you know, everything has to roll, right? She's an adult, treat her that way. But a lot of times we're in too much of a hurry to get out and get something and find out we shooting ourselves in the foot. Uh, I thank you for agreeing. He says you're so right about taking advantage of employee benefits for education. Yeah, you know, this is a part, in my opinion, of financial literacy, Miss Jackson. Let me go back in here and make sure I'm saying her name correctly. Uh, yes, at Verlinda Jackson. This is my opinion, and I appreciate you being transparent and speaking and sharing from a real world experience. There's too many. YouTube is starting to do a great thing with cleaning up some of this stuff. And yes, I do loans in Georgia before I go forward. I lend nationwide in all 50 states. And so the link is in the description. You know what? It might be a few minutes before I go into the description of this video, but check out some of the other videos on the channel or in the channel in general. You can schedule a consultation call. Let's talk about your situation and then see if we can help you achieve your real estate goal. I'd love to do so. And thank you for the questions. But for you, Miss Jackson, speaking from a expertise point, that's what's needed, because a lot of people are hopeless, right? They're hopeless and they're missing opportunities, as you well know. It says here, no problem. You've been one of the few that I watch. Thank you very much. And when I'm ready, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You be blessed. Continue to do good work. And I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your experience and expertise in the area of medical coding. So I think I hit the nail on the head, ladies and gentlemen, as far as qualified income is concerned. As I get ready to wrap this thing up, this is what I want to leave you with. For those of you that are ready to buy now or have that goal out in the future, documentation is slept on. And this is what I mean. Don't wait until the time that you need a document to try to find it. And so as we go through this life, we all are busy, and devices like this can be a blessing, but they more times than not can be a distraction. And so with everything pulling at you, systems always work. And so get into the habit of creating a system to not only have an analog version, offline, paper, to an extent, but an online system version of capturing your documents. So you should keep your last pay stub from your employer every year, okay, in a file. You should keep your W-2s throughout your working history in a file, okay? You should always review your bank statements. With the advent of paperless, what I'm finding is a lot of people have stopped even reviewing their documents. So let's not let the convenience cause us to become lazy. And then as a result of that convenience and laziness, the muscle atrophy. What muscle? The muscle for you to critically think, to analyze your information, only for it to be packaged and served to you so you could pay for it as a subscription. This is what these things end up causing. And so let's use the tools to be more efficient when it makes sense. But again, let's not give our responsibility to someone else, because then ultimately, after a period of time, it's always Gucci at first, right? Who can remember when Netflix was what was Netflix, $2.99, right? Well, now Netflix and YouTube is TV, okay? So my point is, everything starts sweet, especially those of you that are renting, okay? I want to use this as an example. A lot of you guys have been put to sleep with the renting. Not saying everybody should buy, but the point I'm making is true. And here's the deal. If you have competition with a lot of rental units, initially your initial rent will be lower. That's the name of the game. You're talking to a landlord, okay? But that's to get you in. Because once you get in, once you become an incumbent, for all of the reasons that we all know, just folks not wanting change, moving all your stuff, so on and so forth, that that rent is slowly increased over time. You see? And so that's a fact. Not telling you to buy. That's a decision that you have to make. And so just using these examples so that you do not fall asleep at the wheel thinking that anyone else has your best interest in mind. That is your job. Okay? And if along the way you find folks, as Miss Jackson says, I'll paraphrase, that you trust. You can only trust me because of the work that I'm doing. It takes time. You got to watch, see the fruit on the tree. Is Robert talking about this day or that day? You could go back 2019, same situation. Out here trying to simplify this home loan process by educating you guys honestly and giving you the real on what it means and what it takes to own real estate. So create that system, okay? Pay stubs, W-2s, your tax returns, right? Your bank statements. These are all wealth creating behaviors. These are things that you pass to the next generation so that if they're blessed to have a windfall as a result of standing on someone else's shoulders, they're not soon departed from it because you've not taught them how to be a good steward. So with that, let me say a roll call here and say thank you. I'm going to let you guys go. Who shouted out this morning? Let's see here. Heavenly Amber. All right. She's a community member, faithful viewer. Appreciate you this morning. Heavenly, thank you for stopping by as always. Miss Verlinda Jackson. I think you're new. I don't know if I've seen you before, but shout out to you. Thank you. Balancing faith and life. Okay, I feel you. Shout out to you this morning. Thank you for stopping by and asking a question. And I think that's everybody. You know what? Like I say all the time, guys, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. But most importantly, y'all stay blessed. Indeed. How do I turn this off? Let's see here.